Hey everyone, welcome back to Black Egg. If you're a fan of all things spooky, you're in the right place. Today we're uncovering some of the most terrifying horror curiosities that you probably didn't know about. So grab your popcorn and let's get started. Let's kick things off with a haunted house story that's as bizarre as it is terrifying. The Winchester Mystery House in California. Built by Sarah Winchester, widow of the Winchester rifle magnate, this house is a labyrinth of oddities. Legend has it that Sarah was haunted by the ghosts of those killed by her husband's firearms. To appease these spirits, Sarah kept building for 38 years. Doors that open to walls, staircases that lead to nowhere, windows overlooking other rooms. You name it, the Winchester Mystery House has it. Some say the house is still haunted, with visitors reporting strange noises, cold spots and even apparitions. Is it the restless spirits of gun violence victims, or just Sarah Winchester's eccentric building plans coming back to haunt us? We might never know for sure, but one thing's certain. The Winchester Mystery House is a testament to the strange and often terrifying things people do when they're haunted by guilt and grief. It's like an M.C. Escher painting come to life, but with more ghosts. Let's move from a real-life haunted house to a movie set that might have been a little too real for its own good. The Poltergeist franchise was plagued by a string of tragedies that would make even the most skeptical person wonder if there wasn't something darker at play. 4 of the film's stars met untimely deaths, including Heather O'Rourke and Dominique Dunne. Some people chalked it up to coincidence, but others whispered about a curse, claiming that the use of real skeletons and the film's dark subject matter had angered some supernatural force. Whether it was a curse or just the dark side of Hollywood, the tragedies surrounding the Poltergeist movies remain one of the most unsettling mysteries in cinematic history. Okay, buckle up, buttercups, because we're talking about dolls. Not just any dolls, but the kind that'll make you want to burn every Raggedy Ann and Andy you've ever owned. We're talking, of course, about Annabelle. The real Annabelle exists and is currently locked up in Ed and Lorraine Warren's Occult Museum in Connecticut. The story goes that a nursing student received the doll as a gift in the 1970s. Things started innocently enough, with the doll changing positions or moving around the apartment, but it quickly escalated, with the doll leaving threatening messages and even allegedly attacking a friend of the student. The Warrens determined that Annabelle was being manipulated by a demonic entity. Some people claim that Annabelle is still active, just biding her time until she can unleash her particular brand of demonic terror upon the world. Let's talk about a movie that needs no introduction when it comes to horror. The Exorcist. This film terrified audiences upon its release in 1973, and it continues to chill viewers to the bone today. But did you know that the making of The Exorcist was plagued by a series of strange and unsettling events? A fire broke out on set, destroying most of the set except the room used for the exorcism. 9 people associated with the film died during or shortly after production. Several actors reported being injured on set in ways that mirrored their characters' injuries in the script. Audiences at early screenings of the film reportedly fainted, vomited, and even experienced seizures. Some priests were even called in to bless theaters where the film was being shown. Whether it was the power of suggestion or something more sinister, the making of The Exorcist was as unsettling as the film itself. Let's face it, we all love a good campfire story, and few are as iconic and enduring as the legend of Bloody Mary. This chilling tale of a vengeful spirit summoned by chanting her name in a mirror has been terrifying kids and adults alike for generations. One theory links Bloody Mary to Mary of England, also known as Bloody Mary due to her brutal persecution of Protestants. Another theory connects Bloody Mary to the practice of divination using mirrors, which was popular in the 19th century. The legend of Bloody Mary taps into primal fears: the fear of the unknown, the fear of what lies beyond our reflection, and the fear of the thin veil that separates our world from the spirit world. From haunted mirrors to haunted castles, our next stop takes us to one of the most iconic landmarks in the world and arguably one of the most haunted, the Tower of London. This historic fortress has served as a royal palace, a prison, a treasury, and even a zoo over the centuries. But it's the tower's darker history, its association with imprisonment, torture, and execution that has cemented its reputation as a hotbed of paranormal activity. One of the most famous is Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, who was beheaded at the tower in 1536. Visitors and guards alike have reported seeing a spectral figure resembling Anne, often on the anniversary of her death. The ghost of Lady Jane Grey, who was queen for a mere 9 days before being imprisoned and executed by Mary I, is also said to haunt the tower. The ghosts of the two young princes, Edward V and Richard of Shrewsbury, are said to haunt the tower, two small spectral figures holding hands and forever searching for an escape from their prison. Let's take a break from haunted houses and vengeful spirits and dive into the realm of unsolved mysteries. Few mysteries are as chilling and unexplained as the Dyatlov Pass incident. In February 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers ventured into the Ural Mountains of Russia, never to be seen alive again. Their tent was found abandoned on the slopes of Kolatsyakhl, a mountain known as Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. The tent had been cut open from the inside and the hikers' belongings were scattered around the campsite. Their footprints suggested they had fled from the tent in a hurry, barefoot and only partially dressed, into the freezing night. Over the next few weeks, searchers found the bodies of the hikers scattered across the mountainside, some with strange injuries. The official investigation ruled that the cause of death was a compelling natural force, but this vague explanation did nothing to quell the speculation and conspiracy theories. From the frozen wastelands of Russia, we travel to the seemingly ordinary suburbs of London, where one of the most documented cases of poltergeist activity unfolded in the late 1970s. The Enfield poltergeist case remains a landmark in paranormal investigation. It all began in 1977 when Peggy Hodgson, a single mother living in Enfield, North London, reported strange and unsettling occurrences in her home. Her children, 11-year-old Janet and 9-year-old Margaret, claimed that their beds were shaking, furniture was moving on its own, and disembodied voices were whispering their names. The case attracted the attention of paranormal investigators Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair, who spent months documenting the activity. The voice of the alleged entity, which seemed to emanate from Janet, claimed to be a man named Bill Wilkins, who had died in the house years earlier. Some fears are universal: the dark, spiders, and then there's clowns. In 2016, the fear of clowns went from a childhood phobia to a nationwide panic, with a series of creepy clown sightings across the United States. It started with a few isolated reports, people dressed as clowns lurking in the shadows, staring menacingly at passers-by. But as the reports spread, so did the fear. Soon, social media was ablaze with stories of creepy clown encounters. They were spotted in forests, lurking in parking lots, even chasing cars down the street. Some were armed with knives, others with bats, some just with that unsettling painted-on grin. The police were inundated with calls, but the clowns for the most part remained elusive. Our final stop on this terrifying tour takes us to an island shrouded in darkness. An island where history and horror collide to create a place so unsettling, so steeped in suffering, that it's been dubbed the most haunted island in the world. This is Poveglia Island, a small island located in the Venetian lagoon of northern Italy. Poveglia's grim reputation is well-deserved, for this tiny island has borne witness to centuries of human suffering, serving as a plague quarantine zone, a mass grave, and finally, a mental asylum. It all began in the 14th century when the Black Death ravaged Europe. Thousands of plague victims were shipped to the island, their bodies burned on giant pyres or tossed into mass graves. The soil of Poveglia became saturated with death, the air thick with the stench of decay. Legend has it that the ashes of the dead still mingle with the soil and that the island's very essence is infused with the anguish of those who perished there. It's estimated that over 160,000 people died on Poveglia during its time as a plague island. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 terrifying tales that prove sometimes reality is stranger and scarier than fiction. If you enjoyed this descent into the macabre, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Black Egg for more spooky content. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay spooky. Thanks for watching.